Hello and welcome to this NCFE short video on writing skills. So firstly, before we begin any writing, we need to identify the audience and purpose. Deciding whether your writing will be formal or informal depends on the audience and the purpose is the reason it is written. For example, is it to persuade, explain or inform? So depending on the question you are asked in the assessment, you will need to adjust your writing to suit the text, audience and purpose. And one way to do this is to tap the text. A technique I've used a lot with my learners in the past. So before starting anything, what you would do is you would write down the text type you were about to write, the audience who will read it, and the purpose of the writing. So let's tap the following sentences. So the first one, mate, this HW is pure hard like, and I'm going to be dead if I hand it in late. So what do we think this type of text is? Who is the audience? And what is the purpose? And I'll give you a few moments to think about the type of text it is, the audience, and the purpose. So yes, this is a text or social media message. The audience is a friend, and the purpose is to describe. Let's have a look at the next one. Dear Sir, Andrew experienced some difficulties in completing last night's homework. Although he tried very hard, he was unable to understand what was expected of him. So I'll give you a few moments to tap this text. So what type of text is it? Who is the audience and what is the purpose? So this one, the text type is a letter, the audience is his teacher, and the purpose to is explain why his homework wasn't completed. So both pieces of writing give the same message that Andrew is having trouble with his homework, but would his teacher have taken him seriously if he or she had received it as a text message? Likewise, would his friend have given him any sympathy if they had received a formal letter? So when we write, we usually have a purpose, and to achieve that purpose, we need to appeal to our audience. Another activity that you can do to help prepare for writing is to analyze the language in sentences and texts and say which is the best and why. So if you have a look at this activity, the two sentences below use formal language to give us the same information. Which sentence do you think is best and why? You may wish to pause the recording for a few moments while you read them, and then we'll go through the answers. So the first one, the gale damaged houses and cars. The storm destroyed houses and cars. Now for me, I would say B is the one that is the most powerful because the word storm and destroyed, it seems a more harsher and more destructive word than the word damaged. Question 2, which of the following should not use formal language? An email to a friend, letter of complaint, or newspaper article. And the answer to that one would be an email to a friend. So remember, using formal language doesn't mean that you have to sound boring. You can still use words imaginatively in formal writing. For example, a news report uses formal language, but the words are rich and stimulating to keep the audience interested. This next activity is to tap the text and then rewrite it using formal language. You could again try tapping the text when you're finished just to check that it is suitable for the audience and purpose. You may wish to pause the recording while you have a go at doing this. So the task is to rewrite the letter using formal language. But remember, before you do that, it's worth tapping the text. So here are some tips to support the activity on the previous slide, which I'll go back to in a moment. And you may want to pause and do this now or make a note of the time in the video and try it another time. So things that you can do to make it more formal is you could look at the introduction. Can you think of a way to begin the letter that sounds more formal? Can you remove or change any words that are too chatty? Don't use contractions, so shorten the word instead of they, say they are. Don't use exclamation marks. Avoid starting sentences with but. So here is a short example of the start of the letter. Obviously, in the actual exam, the letter would need to be longer, but this gives you an idea of how to take something that is informal and make it formal. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found the session useful. Thank you.